Hello guys, welcome to my channel, Full on Drama. Today I have brought you 5 Am I the Asshole Reddit stories. Story 1. Am I the asshole for taking my kid's nanny on vacation and not my ex-wife? Throwaway account just in case. The title may seem like a given, but it's not apparently. About 9 months ago, my current wife 40 female and I 43 male hired a nanny. I have 7 kids, 4 from my previous marriage and 3 from my current. Anytime we go on vacation, I plan it around when my other kids are going to be in our custody so we can all go. Our nanny comes with us as well, as was discussed when she was hired. The problem actually starts when my youngest from my previous marriage, 7 female, returned to her mom's, and apparently all she talked about was the nanny. My ex-wife accused me of abandoning our kids onto our nanny even though I don't. They just like hanging out with her. Yes, she is paid extra for the other kids. Every time my kids go back to their moms, she calls and texts me, infuriated. It all came to a head when I discussed going on a cruise with the kids, my wife, and the nanny over the summer because I have custody of them the entire summer. My ex-wife called me, calling me selfish, mean-spirited, a horrible father, etc. She said I should have invited her instead of our nanny, because she's the real mother and the kids already like the nanny more than her. What will happen in 3 months? And I never did things like these when we were married, even though I made significantly less money back then. Even my parents and some of my family are agreeing that taking our nanny and not the kids' mom is ridiculous. So, am I the asshole? Should I have at least offered her to go? Story 2. Am I the asshole for hurting my ex's chance for a job? I 34 female am a senior manager at my company and I help oversee recruitment. Normally I do the first pass interviews and then give my recommendations onto my manager for final interviews. At the beginning of the year, the CV for an ex came in as part of recruitment for a new role. He and I broke up over a decade ago, and while it wasn't amicable, it wasn't messy. There was the usual sadness of a breakup. When I saw his CV, I emailed my boss and CC'd HR saying I knew him personally and thought it was a conflict of interest and I shouldn't be involved in the process. We take fairness of hiring very seriously at my company, and I really thought it wasn't fair if I was part of the process. I had no follow-ups from my manager or HR beyond saying I was correct, and my manager took on the hiring. I wasn't involved at all, and had no idea who was through to the next round. After about a week, I got a DM from the ex on social media, absolutely seething. I didn't know he was applying, but he certainly seemed to know I worked there. He said he hadn't gotten through to the next round, and he was accusing me of poisoning the well and fixing it so he wouldn't get to the next stage. I told him honestly that I hadn't been part of that process, but if he wanted feedback, our recruiters would happily give it. I'll admit, our company has a serious social media policy, and I was keeping it professional. He went off on me, swearing at me and saying he was going to get me fired for bias. I admit I panicked, blocked him, and got screen grabs of the messages. I sent them straight onto HR and my boss and explained the situation, but come to find out, he had actually gotten to the next round of interviews. It took longer to interview everyone than expected, and come to find out he was in, but I guess took the radio silence as rejection. But after my screenshots, my boss cut him from the short list. I was having drinks with some friends and told them this crazy story, but some thought I fucked him over. Half my friends thought I went nuclear based on some social media messages. They actually said I secretly wanted him not to get it, which isn't the case. Half got my point of covering myself with my employer because he was wrong for coming at me. I'm not sure if I overreacted and thought too much about myself. So, am I the asshole? Story 3. Am I the asshole because I told my ex-husband outside of our kids I don't care about his life and I don't owe his fiancé anything? So my 36 female ex-husband Tom 35 male left me for his work wife Tammy 25 female 2 years ago. I never liked her even before I found out about their relationship. The first time I met her at a work event, she told me while I was heavily pregnant, my youngest, better up your wife game or I might steal him off you. Well, 3 months later she did. This woman literally came with him to help pack the day he moved out, and tried to have a one-on-one conversation on how she wanted our relationship going forward because she was gonna be in my life. Then said as a joke, told you I'd steal him away. Not gonna lie, I'm thankful she did, because when my ex made a comment about her being 23 and her brain not being fully developed, I got the ick so bad it turned my heartbreak into relief. I got everything in the divorce because I got him in his affair fog and gave 50-50 its custody for our kids' sake. I'm civil for the sake of my kids so we can both attend events without drama, but other than that, I couldn't honestly care less about them. Around June, Tammy came instead of Tom for pick and practically skipped towards me to show off her engagement ring, saying she wanted me as a bridesmaid along with my daughters for something I didn't catch because I was in a rush to get our cat to the vet. She got upset because I just said her whole conversation per Tom's texts a few hours later. Same happened again in September when she told me she was pregnant, which again my zero fucks given upset her. In December when she told me the second I opened the car door, Tom's finally getting a son, to which I sarcastically replied, I'm sure Lord Tom's excited for an heir to take over his lands and titles, which caused drama too because Tom's family found it hilarious when Tammy was bad-mouthing me. December was the last time I saw her till today at drop-offs with Tom. As they approached me, I noticed Tammy didn't look pregnant anymore. Tammy tearfully said, we lost the baby. I didn't answer, just told Tom our second daughter has a birthday party tomorrow at 3 and the oldest has gymnastics at 5. Tammy literally screamed at me I was a heartless bitch and bitter, then grabbed the girls' bags walking away. Tom said I could show a little humanity towards Tammy and regardless of my feelings she is my kid's stepmother. I told Tom I don't care about what he going through because outside our kids, I don't care about them and I don't owe Tammy anything, especially pity. He called me an asshole along with other things and left. Usually this wouldn't bother me, but my ex-in-laws who I have a good relationship have told me I should have shown Tammy some empathy and at the very least pretended to care for the sake of the kids. So, am I the asshole? Story 4. Am I the asshole for insisting on a paternity test before accepting my ex-wife's son as my own? I, 32 male, was married to my ex-wife, Jane, 30 female, for 5 years. Our marriage ended after I discovered she had been cheating on me for about a year with multiple men. She got pregnant and confessed that she doesn't know if the baby was mine or her affair partner's. A couple of months after the divorce, I tried to reach out to her to see if the baby was mine but couldn't, and I learned through a friend she and her new partner had left the country. That was 2 years ago and I thought that was that. Recently, Jane reached out to my mother claiming that her kid is mine and in need of financial help. Jane told my mother that her partner left her when he found out the kid is not his. Now for context, my mother has been desperate for grandkids, especially since my older brother is gay and child-free, and I've been single since the divorce. She's been relentless in pressuring me to help out Jane. However, I have my doubts given her infidelity. I find it hard to trust her claims without concrete evidence. So I've insisted on a paternity test before committing to any financial or emotional support. If the child is indeed mine, I'll gladly step up and fulfill my responsibilities as a father, but I refuse to do so without proper legal documentation. My mother and Jane are both vehemently against the idea of involving lawyers or going through the legal process. They insist that the child is mine based on similar resemblances, like having blue eyes, which I have, but Jane has blue eyes as well. This issue came to a head when my mother posted a picture on Facebook of her and the kid titled my grandson. Now family members and some friends know about this issue and are contacting me. When I tell them I don't know if the kid is mine and want to do a paternity test, they are calling me selfish and irresponsible. My family members are saying my mother will only say that because she is sure that the kid is mine. My friend says I am an asshole for punishing the kid for what my ex-wife did. There is a chance the kid is mine, but I can't shake off my doubts, and I refuse to be manipulated into a situation where I might end up responsible for a child who may not be mine. I'm willing to do what's right, but I need certainty first. But it's driving me crazy with so many people close to me saying I should just take responsibility. My older brother is the only one who is on my side, and he thinks it's because my mother has accepted the kid that others are willing to accept it too. And because of family bonds, which are a major thing here. But I am standing firm on my decision to do a paternity test. So, am I the asshole? Story 5. Am I the asshole for not letting my ex inside my apartment when she was drunk and saying I don't care if my ex misses our son, she made her bed and can lay in it? I, 26 male, have a 6-month-old son, James, with my ex, Rose, 27 female, who was completely unplanned. We had been dating for 5 years and I was planning to propose, but Rose did not want our son and wanted to abort James or put him up for adoption. Since being a mom wasn't a part of her current plans for life, I disagreed with both options, so we broke up and agreed that I should just have custody of the baby. We went through the tedious, painful, and long process of getting Rose's parental rights removed after she moved out of our previously shared apartment. She eventually gave birth with me in the delivery room and handed him off to me as soon as my son was cleared to be taken home. I hadn't heard from Rose in the first month of James' life, so I deleted and eventually blocked her number. Rose said that she didn't even want to be known as a friend of mine to James or continue any sort of relationship with me, so I figured it didn't matter. Last night, Rose showed up drunk outside my apartment, crying about how she wanted to see her son and she wanted to be a mom now. I hate to say it, but I shut the door in her face and had a mutual friend, Hannah 28 female, pick her up from my apartment. I could hear her crying until Hannah came to get her. Later on, Hannah texted and told me it was cruel to just shut the door in her face when she was so obviously looking for help. I said that Rose has plenty of help from her parents, friends, and I did help her by having Hannah pick her up. Hannah told me that I could have let her in and let her look at our son in order to get her to calm down. That's when I got irritated and replied that I didn't care if Rose misses James. She made her bed and can lay in for it. Hannah stopped responding after that, but I do feel guilty because Rose was crying outside my door in a way I haven't ever heard from her. So, am I the asshole? Please like, share, and subscribe.